I am Bhumika Indulia. In the 19th episode of SEC Online Weekly Rewind, I bring you the stories ranging from minimum age criteria to the appointment of tribunals to the latest features introduced in SEC Online Web Edition. Stay tuned to all the updates. In a landmark case, the Supreme Court invoked independence of judiciary and separation of powers to invalidate certain amendments in the Finance Act 2017, which had prescribed minimum age of 50 years for appointment to tribunals, and also made changes to allowances payable to members and their term of office. By a majority of 2:1, the court declared that certain portions of Section 184 of the Finance Act, amended by the Tribunal Reforms Rationalization and Conditions of Service Ordinance, to be unconstitutional and inoperative. Section 184 consists of provisions relating to the qualifications, appointment, etc. of chairperson and members of tribunals. The majority was formed by Justice L. Nageshwar Rao, who delivered the leading opinion, and Justice S. Ravindra Bhatt, penning a separate concurring opinion. Whereas Justice Hemant Gupta wrote a substantially dissenting opinion. Follow the full story on SEC Online blog. The Supreme Court took suo motu cognizance of the proposed Kavad Yatra amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. The said matter was taken up on an urgent basis as the court was little disturbed on noting the headline in Indian Express newspaper with regard to the Kavad Yatra, which is likely to be held from 25th of July 2021. The bench, consisting of Justice Rohinton and Justice Gawai, issued notice to the Union of India and the states of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand to file their early responses. In a matter relating to exercise undertaken by Delhi Legislative Assembly's committee inquiring into Facebook's role aggravating Delhi riots last year, Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Dinesh Maheshwari and Rishikesh Roy held that representatives of Facebook will have to appear before the Committee on Peace and Harmony constituted by the Delhi Legislative Assembly. At the same time, the court felt constrained to put certain fetters quo the exercise sought to be undertaken by the committee. Further, in a postscript to the judgment, the court stressed upon the importance of succinctly framed written synopsis and the same being adhered to in course of oral arguments to be addressed over a limited period of time. The court also said that the judgments should be crisp, clear and precise so that the common man can understand what is the law being laid down. The Supreme Court, in a matter relating to High Courts developing a practice of calling upon public officers at a drop of a hat and exerting direct or indirect pressure, remarked that the public officers of the executive are also performing their duties as the third limbs of the governance. The actions or decisions by the officials are not to benefit them, but as a custodian of public funds and the interest of administration, some decisions are bound to be taken. The court also observed that the summoning of the public officer is against the public interest, as many important tasks entrusted to him gets delayed, creating extra burden on the officer or delaying the decisions awaiting his opinion. Moving on to the High Courts. The Delhi High Court, while lauding the object of Chief Minister's Advocates Welfare Scheme, expressed that the condition in the scheme that it would be applicable only to the residents in Delhi with voter IDs was discriminatory and arbitrary, as the subclassification from amongst the advocates enrolled with the Bar Council of Delhi has no rational nexus with the object to be achieved. Accordingly, the scheme shall be extended to all the advocates registered with the Bar Council of Delhi whose names and credentials are verified without the insistence of voter ID showing residence in Delhi. The Manipur High Court observed that the state cannot seek to impose conditions upon the citizens so as to compel them to get vaccinated, be it by holding out a threat or by putting them at a disadvantage for failing to get vaccinated. Restraining people who are yet to get vaccinated from opening institutions, organizations, factories, shops, etc., denying them their livelihood by linking their employment, be it Narega job card holders or workers in government or private projects, to their getting vaccinated would be illegal on the part of the state, if not unconstitutional. Such a measure would also trample upon the freedom of the individual to get vaccinated or choose not to do so. The Punjab and Haryana High Court, while addressing a petition filed by a juvenile seeking anticipatory bail, held that the plea for anticipatory bail by a juvenile is not maintainable in law, as there is no concept of arrest on apprehension regarding children in conflict with the law. Moving on to the tribunals and commissions. NCDRC decided a matter wherein a question of whether wheelchair injuries would fall under the ambit of medical negligence or not. The Commission prima facie held that it does not fall strictly in the medical negligence. Further, the Commission expressed that the wheelchairs are usually thought of a medical device that is meant to help those who are injured or have physical challenges. They can also be a source of injury when not properly used. Most wheelchair injuries that happen in the medical setting due to the negligence of a medical staff, and such could be easily prevented by a hospital or nursing home. Moving on to the legislation updates. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India makes amendment to the 2016 regulations to require registered professional to appoint 2 registered valuers to determine fair value and liquidation value of the corporate debtor. On July 13, 2021, the Finance Department of Rajasthan has issued an order regarding the stamp duty chargeable on the instrument of transfer of immovable property of micro or small enterprises of manufacturing sector as defined in the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Act 2006. The Delhi government has notified amendments in the period of registration of name of child at birth under Delhi Registration of Births and Deaths Amendment Rules 2021. The manner of furnishing of returns or details of outward supplies by short messaging service facility notified under Delhi Goods and Services Tax 8th Amendment Rules 2020. On July 8, 2021, the Security Exchange Board of India has issued a review of advance intimation timelines for modifications in the contract specifications of commodity derivatives contracts. Moving on to the latest releases by Eastern Book Company. P.L. Malik's Handbook of Labour and Industrial Law. The current 19th edition of this popular handbook on labour and industrial law has been thoroughly revised, amended and updated. This comprehensive handy volume provides thorough coverage of important labour law legislations that are essential for the functioning of an industrial undertaking. International Commercial Arbitration and Introduction. This well-researched work provides a detailed explanation of the basics of international commercial arbitration with a special focus on Indian perspective. The book serves as an introductory guide for beginners who wish to enter the field of international commercial arbitration, as well as handy reference work for practitioners. In the last segment of this episode of SEC Online Weekly Rewind, I bring to you the new feature which has been introduced in the SEC Online web edition. It has been introduced in curated topics, that is Supreme Court large bench decisions under constitutional law. I hope you all will enjoy this new latest edition. Wish you all happy researching. Stay tuned for our next updates.